Hey everybody, Mario here, otherwise known as White on the interwebs, and welcome to another edition of the reboot. Wait, hold on a sec. I can't do this anymore. I can't call it the reboot review anymore. We're just too deep into the New 52 now. I mean, it's like the 5th month. So instead I'm going to follow the suggestion of one of my subscribers and call it the 52 review. Ta-da! So, welcome to the 52 review. And I want to thank frostbittay, hope I'm saying that right, for the suggestion. I liked it, and that's where I'm going to go with from here on out. Alright, so I have 4 new comments this week that I picked up. They all actually were rather well, which is surprising. Usually there's at least 1 or 2 turkeys in here, but not so this time. Let's start off with Batgirl number 5. Alright, so yeah, you've heard me go on and on about how lackluster Batgirl issues 1 through 4 was. The story arc was mediocre at best. The character drive wasn't really there. The storyline and the plot twists were elementary to say the least. And in the case of at least 2 issues, it felt like I was reading the first draft. But then along comes Batgirl number 5 with a whole new story arc and a whole new villainess, who actually fits surprisingly well for Batgirl, or at least for Barbara. It's still missing a couple of things. It still feels a little just disjointed, especially with the return of a character that Barbara had felt was completely gone from her life. It doesn't really get addressed here. It's just a giant question mark for now. But it could lead into some interesting plot twists somewhere down the road. And finally, 5 issues into the series, we're finally starting to get some answers as to how Barbara is able to walk from being paralyzed because of being shot by the Joker, which apparently still happened. Now I want to quickly talk about Gretel. That's the name of the new villainess for Batgirl. Interesting. I can see at least 1 or 2 memes springing up from this chick, especially the whole 338 thing. 338! If you don't get what I'm saying, check out the book. It's actually kind of worth your time. This new story arc looks to be pretty interesting, and especially since they actually gave us a somewhat decent cliffhanger ending for a change. My expectations for Batgirl are super low right now, but I have to admit, this issue was actually not a disappointment. It's still got a long way to go from being an excellent comic series, but at least there's some hope and life left because of Batgirl number 5. Next up is Batman and Robin number 5. Whoa, okay, before I get into this plot, I just want to say that Patrick Gleason's art, that noir style, the dark tones, it just works so well for this comic series. I can't stop saying enough good things about it. As for the story itself, well, although I did see what happened in this issue coming, there's still enough emotional weight behind it that it doesn't matter that it was telegraphed. You still feel pretty bad. You still can feel Bruce's angst. You can cut Damian's oppressed rage with a knife. Seriously, that's how tense this issue is. And we finally get some revelations as to who Nobody is and what his connection is to Bruce/Batman. And we're starting to get an idea of why he seems so interested in taking up Damian/Robin under his wing. And while we all can see where this is heading, what we can't see is how this is going to end. And this is the beginning of, I would say, how that arc is going to play out. This is the start of the end. The beginning of the end. Doi. I don't have anything bad to say about this issue, other than the revelation was telegraphed. But again, there was just so much emotional weight in the previous issues between Bruce and Damian, and Alfred too, that it didn't matter, and you will still enjoy this issue a lot. Another great Tomasi issue. Can't wait for issue 6. Next up is Batwoman number 5. Woo! Oh, I love this issue. No, seriously though, I love the artwork. This is, quite honestly, the most beautiful, ethereal looking art that DC has right now. The story's not that bad either. It felt a little disjointed at some parts, but issue 5 kind of helped cement everything back together. And it's getting kind of sad. And it's looking kind of bad for Kate Kane / Batwoman. Some secrets came out in the last issue, and the consequences of that are beginning to show in this one. Things are about to go down, and we get to see the end of the story arc with La Llorona, which is still pretty freaky and quite an inspired choice by the guys behind Batwoman. We also get a hint of the story arc that's to come after issue 5, which looks to be all kinds of exciting. I really don't know where they're going to take Batwoman from here on out. Taking the paranormal route with Batwoman is an inspired choice, and I happen to like it. It wouldn't work for anybody else in the Bat family. But since Batwoman is still pretty much a new character in the DCU, sure, why not? Seriously, though, this is quite honestly one of my favorite running comic series going on in DC right now. And I highly, highly recommend you picking this one up and picking up the other 4 if you haven't already. You need to get caught up in this one. And finally, my pick for this edition of the 52 review, Green Lantern number 5. Sinestro is awesome. I mean, let's face it, let's just get that out of the way right now. Sinestro is freaking awesome and the best character in the Green Lantern series right now. Quite possibly the best character in all the Green Lantern books going on right now, if you ask me. I think it's because Jeff Johns worked his magic again, and he made Sinestro more than just a one-dimensional, snidely whiplash, mustache-twirling villain that we all saw in years past. I love Doug Mankey's artwork in the whole series. The colors are just highlighted, especially from the lantern cores that appear. It seems like you get a sense of whatever feelings are going on between Hal and Sinestro. The settings have different tones and colors. Everything meshes together. This is another great duo between writer and artist. We finally get to see the end of the story arc of Hal and Sinestro's team up against the Sinestro Corps. While some people might complain that it ended a little too quickly, I have no problems with it. I think it wrapped up rather nicely, and we get to see clear signs of the next story arc to come. I love that. I'm loving how these recent issues are closing up one story arc and quickly opening up another one and making it seamless. It's just beautiful. And Sinestro, we get to find out so much about Sinestro that it makes you wonder how the hell did Hal and other Green Lanterns beat him in issues past. Sinestro is so wise, and he knows so much about the Green Lantern Corps and the Ring. This whole thing between Hal and Sinestro is not over yet, and you get the feeling, especially at the end of this issue, that it's not. This issue, Green Lantern, this series right here, has been consistently hitting homers one after the other. Each and every issue has been well written, well drawn, and well done. I've been interested since issue 1, and my interest has not waned at all. It has not lowered, it has risen, and I've loved each and every issue. I've never had an inconsistency between issue 1 and 5. It's been constantly good, and I've been constantly enjoying it. This is one of my top 6 comics in the DCU right now. You need to check it out. You need to pick this. If you're a DC fan, if you're a Green Lantern fan, you need to get this. Do it. Alright guys, that about does it for now. What are you still reading? What are you interested in? You got any suggestions for me? Whatever is on your mind, I encourage you to drop anything down in the commentary plot. That's what it's there for, and I do get back to you guys. I just want to thank once again Frostbittay for the suggestion, and hey man, I'm going with it. From here on out, the 52 review is what I'm calling this. Alright guys, that's it for me. I'll see you next week. Live Nerdcore, Y2M out.